So, I recently just listened to the Otto Wallin post fight interview. I will say that he was very humble and he made no excuses for why he lost. So, let's go ahead and listen to some of what Otto Wallin had to say because it's quite interesting because he's one of the few people that have actually fought um, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, and he clearly has changed his mind about who's the toughest opponent. So let's take a quick listen.
Trying to move on, but before obviously we do talk about the future, what you want to go on to do next, let's just go back to Saudi. The fight with Anthony Joshua heading into it, Otto, a lot of people were expecting it to be quite a difficult and a tough matchup for AJ. In the end, on the night, it seemed more comfortable, more relaxed for him than what people would have thought and were tipping before the fight. From your perspective, what went wrong for you?
First of all, guys, Otto Wallin and Anthony Joshua had actually sparred multiple times before. So people, now that AJ won so easily, were saying, well, of course he won easily. He knew his opponent. When you spar somebody, doesn't your sparring partner know you just as much as you know them? So who really has the advantage? You should both have the advantage over each other.
Well, I felt good going into the fight. I felt confident. I thought that I had a really good chance of winning. But of course, took him very seriously. I know that he's one of the best fighters out there. And I really have no excuses. He was just better, I think.
Do you hear that? I've got no excuses. He was just better. You almost never hear that from boxers. I mean, sometimes they'll say, oh, the better man won on the night, blah, blah, blah. But he just straight out said, yeah, AJ was better than me, which was true if you watch the fight.
He did really well. He used his reach well. He hit me with some really good shots. And yeah, that was he was just better, I think.
Was there anything he did on the night that surprised you?
He made some good body shots. And, I'm always ready for that, of course, be prepared for that. But
so I actually went back and watched the whole fight again. And AJ was very specifically targeting Otto's body and then go into the head. Or he would kind of flick out a few jabs and then do a huge right to the body. And a few of those times when he hit Otto, you could tell Otto backed up and was like, oh gosh, you could tell that it really hurt him. So I think AJ's corner probably advised him to keep doing that because it was having the desired effect.
I think they had a good game plan. I think maybe I haven't watched the fight, but he felt like a very good fighter. And obviously it was a much tougher fight than what I had with Fury.
You sparred him prior to the Charles Martin fight, Otto. Did you see a development? How much better of a version of Anthony Joshua did you feel in the ring on December 23rd compared to what you had in sparring?
That is an excellent question.
I mean, sparring is sparring, so it's hard to say, but he felt very good in there, and probably better than what he felt in sparring. But like I said, sparring is sparring, so you can't really judge from that. But he really showed that he's a really good fighter, a top fighter, and sparring is sparring, so you can't say too much. But he did a good job.
I mean, that's a good answer. Sparring is sparring. You're not trying to kill each other necessarily in sparring. It depends what you're working on, but he's definitely given AJ a lot of praise as far as the way that this fight went. So that is respectable.
One thing which was a big talking point for that week, there was all that talk of a potential AJ and Deontay Wilder fight. Otto, did that become a distraction for you, or did you feel in the build-up to it was a bit disrespectful of all that talk and the talk of it being signed prior to them actually fighting yourself and Josie Parker?
Yeah, I didn't care so much. I thought it was a good thing for me that AJ might be looking at Wilder, and he's fighting with Miller, he's fighting with Wilder, and talks with both guys. So I thought that was a good thing. But I remember I told everyone they can forget about that fight. It's not happening. And I said, because I'm gonna beat AJ, and who knows, Parker Wilder. That's a tough fight too. I said.
Well, you see how that turned out. So he was very confident going in. It probably was on the back of how tentative AJ was looking when he fought Jermaine Franklin, and also his face was a little bit busted up when he fought Robert Helenius. But let's bear in mind, Robert Helenius was a last-minute switch because AJ was practicing to fight Dillian White for the second time. And on top of that, Robert Helenius tested to be on drugs with that fight too. Dillian White actually was pulled out of the AJ fight because he tested dirty for drugs to fight AJ, probably because he felt like he needed to beef up a little bit, just like these things. But he tested dirty, and then Helenius tested dirty, and AJ still beat him. So, I mean, this is crazy. Okay, listen to this next question, because this next question is probably the most interesting of the whole interview. Pay attention.
I mean, just on that AJ front, you've shared a ring with him and you've shared a ring with Tyson as well now, Otto. There's a lot of talk if we ever will see them as two bridge share a ring. As a man who's shared a ring with both, what are your thoughts if you could kind of get some together about a potential down the line Fury-Joshua fight?
Well, I would say that this fight with Joshua was a lot tougher than the fight I had with Fury. I think that it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I think that Fury is a very good fighter, can probably pick it up.
Okay, bear in mind, he said the AJ fight was harder. Styles make fights, but let's be honest. Usually when you lose to someone, even if you don't like them, they earn your respect because they was able to beat you. But on the other hand, Otto gave Tyson a really good fight, busted him up. Tyson was bleeding everywhere, had all kinds of stitches. If he just goes ahead and says, yeah, AJ's better than Tyson, then that almost invalidates his own attempt against Tyson too. So he's not just going to outright come out and say AJ was tougher and stronger than Tyson and that he hits harder than Tyson. He's not going to say that. But it feels like that's what he's alluding to. Let's continue.
I don't know. There's a lot of variables, but I always said that Fury would win that fight. But now, just being in with Joshua is feel a little bit different. But it's hard to go against Tyson, I think. But I don't know. It's changed my mind a little bit after this fight.
So he knows he's supposed to say Tyson because Tyson is undefeated. He knows he's supposed to say Tyson because Tyson beat him. But after getting in the ring with Joshua in a real fight, not just sparring, and it being stopped, him quitting on his stool, it kind of changes the scenario, doesn't it?
Obviously, Tyson has to come through the Alexander Usyk fight first, which by no means is no easy fight at all. Just to get your thoughts on that one, Otto, what do you make of the Undisputed bout next year?
Well, I got a lot of respect for Usyk, especially now after being in with Joshua. He's done a really good job with Joshua. So I think that would be a really good fight. I always said that I think that Tyson's going to win, and I'm going to stick to that. But it's heavyweight boxing, you never know. Usyk is an extremely good fighter. Tyson is good. And we'll see. I still go with Fury, but I think it will be a very good fight.
So, dang alarm's going off. Hold on. So, think about this. What does everyone say about Usyk? He's small. He's a middleweight. He's not that big. He's not that strong. He can't punch that hard. Yet he was able to go in with Derek Chisora and beat him. Then he was able to go in with the biggest, strongest guy in heavyweight boxing, AJ, and he was able to be fast enough and strong enough to wobble AJ and almost knock him out in the 12th round. Then he went in with Daniel Dubois, who is also a big heavyweight. What's he, 6'6", 240, 238. I think that's what he weighed in for the Miller fight. And he smacked him up, right? I mean, he dropped Daniel twice and he made him quit on a jab. So is Usyk really that weak and really that small? I mean, he's 6'4" and 230 or 240 when he fought AJ the second time. That is pretty big. I'm 6'4", I weigh 250, so there's not really that much size between Usyk and myself, or Usyk and AJ. So he's not that small. So when Tyson calls him a middleweight and says all of this stuff, he's not that stupid. Think about it. Daniel Dubois just beat Jarrell Miller, who weighed 335 pounds. He outweighed him by 100 pounds. Dubois beat him. So you think Jarrell Miller would be able to catch somebody like Usyk? Not a chance. So the weight always doesn't make a difference when it comes to heavyweight boxing.
Well, Otto, I know you're back. Ooh.
If Usyk can beat Fury, then I mean that's really an amazing career that he's had.
Let me point one thing out. He thought that Tyson would beat Fury. I'm sorry, that Fury would be Usyk. But now that he's been in the ring with Joshua and he realizes how good Joshua can box and how strong he is, that made him respect Usyk even more, because Usyk beat Joshua twice convincingly. So now in his mind, he realizes, okay, I know I'm a southpaw. He thought that he was going to give Joshua issues, but Joshua smashed him. So he clearly knows that there's a big talent difference between himself and Alexander Usyk.
Otto, I know you're back in New York now, so you're surely looking forward to New Year celebrations. What are you going to get up to for these coming days, with the exception of needing to go to the hospital?
Well, we don't have anything planned. We were supposed to go on a vacation in South Africa, but because of my nose and having to go to the hospital, I had to go back to New York. So we don't have plans right now, but we're working on it. Sure.
That's what I said. He has to have another surgery to get his face fixed. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about his interview. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description so you can go and watch the whole thing. Tell me what you think. But he definitely has gained some respect from Anthony Joshua. Or Anthony Joshua has gained his respect, is what I meant to say. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Boom.